Welcome to the Cenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, so today we're going deep on something that I think a lot of new moms can relate to. We're talking about postpartum depression.
Yeah, PPD, something that we really wanted to dig into because it goes so much deeper than just like those baby blues, that kind of thing that you hear people talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got some incredible info lined up all about natural ways to feel better, really take care of your emotional health during this time.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much interest in taking a more holistic approach, especially for moms who are breastfeeding or just really aligned with that natural lifestyle.
Totally. And that's really what this deep dive is all about. We're going to explore those natural remedies, ones that are backed by evidence, not just like hearsay, things that can actually make a difference for postpartum depression. And the research we've been looking at it's honestly pretty remarkable. There's so much potential for healing and boosting your mental well-being and, just easing some of those tough symptoms that can come with PPD. So to kick things off, let's get clear on what postpartum depression actually is. Beyond the surface level,
Right. So postpartum depression, it's a mood disorder, and it can develop after you give birth. Now, it usually shows up within those first few weeks, but sometimes it can actually take months. And one thing that's really important to remember is that it's way more intense than the baby blues, and it lasts much longer.
Yeah.
The baby blues, that usually clears up within a few days.
Gotcha. So it's not just like feeling a little down.
Right.
I mean, our sources go into some really specific signs to look out for.
Exactly. So some of the things to be aware of, a really persistent feeling of sadness, not just a fleeting thing. Also, big mood swings or just being way more irritable than usual. And then a loss of interest in things that you normally love doing, things you're passionate about. Sometimes it can even be hard to connect with your baby. And there's the fatigue, the difficulty sleeping. I mean, those are already a part of having a newborn. But with PPD, it can be debilitating, really. And then there are feelings of guilt, hopelessness, even worthlessness, and anxiety, sometimes even panic attacks. And it can even be tough to concentrate, to make decisions. Those everyday things can feel overwhelming.
It really shows you how much PPD can impact your whole life. And I think it's so important to emphasize that reaching out for help is crucial because, as we learned from our research, untreated PPD can have an impact on your baby's brain development as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's why finding effective ways to deal with it is so vital, not just for yourself, but for your little one too.
Yeah.
And that's part of why so many moms are really drawn to these natural remedies, as that first line of support.
Yeah, I get that. And while medication definitely has its place and can be incredibly helpful for some, I know a lot of women prefer that natural route. Maybe it's because they want to avoid potential side effects, especially if they're breastfeeding. Or maybe it just fits better with their overall approach to health and wellness. From what we've gathered, how do these natural remedies actually work? Like, what's the mechanism behind them?
Well, there are a few key things. A lot of them really focus on balancing those hormones. After childbirth, your hormones go through this massive shift.
Right.
And then there's the nutritional aspect. So many of these natural remedies, they're about replenishing those nutrients that get depleted during pregnancy and postpartum. Because, deficiencies can really mess with your mood. And then there's stress management. A lot of these approaches are really great for helping your body handle stress more effectively. And when you're less stressed, you sleep better, you have more energy, and that can make a huge difference for your emotional resilience.
It makes sense. It's like giving your body what it needs to rebalance itself. So let's break down some of these remedies, starting with nutrition. The food we eat. That seems like such a fundamental place to start.
Oh, for sure. And, postpartum is such a demanding time for your body. Nutritionally speaking, you're giving so much. Replenishing those stores, that's absolutely key for both physical and mental health. The research we've been looking at, it highlights some really crucial nutrients for emotional well-being.
So let's hear about them. What are we talking about?
Okay, first up, omega-3 fatty acids, specifically DHA and EPA. And you can find these in fish oils, but also in plant-based sources like flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, that kind of thing.
Right.
And these are so important for brain health and for regulating your emotions, especially postpartum. And there's this really interesting link between low DHA levels and a higher risk of postnatal depression.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's likely because DHA, it's like a building block for your brain cells. It helps those cells communicate, and it plays a role in how those neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers in your brain that affect mood, how they function.
So interesting. Okay, what about vitamin D? I feel like that's one a lot of people are deficient in, especially if you don't get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah, that's a big one. Vitamin D, it's crucial for producing serotonin, the feel-good neurotransmitter. And it's also really important for regulating hormones. And the research is pretty clear on this. Not enough sunlight, low vitamin D, that can really increase your risk of postpartum depression. So it might be a good idea to talk to your doctor about getting your levels checked. And then, see if supplementation would be helpful. Because vitamin D, it acts almost like a hormone in the body. It affects so many things, not just mood.
Wow. Good to know. Okay, so we've got omega-3s, vitamin D. What about iron? I always think of that as being important for energy.
Exactly. If your iron levels are low, you're going to feel tired, irritable. And that can definitely worsen those feelings of depression. So getting enough iron through your diet, that's key. Think spinach, lentils, lean red meat, all good sources.
Awesome. And then magnesium. I associate that with feeling more relaxed.
It totally is. Magnesium, it's like a calming mineral. It helps to support your nervous system, and it can really improve your sleep quality. And that's so connected to your emotional well-being. You can get magnesium from leafy greens, almonds, whole grains.
Makes sense. And what about B vitamins? Are there specific ones that are particularly helpful postpartum?
Yeah, B6, B9, which is folate, and B12. Those are all essential for how your brain functions, for regulating your mood, for having energy. And sometimes taking a B-complex supplement during postpartum can be helpful, but like always, talk to your doctor about it first.
Right. And one of our sources had this really practical tip about keeping a food journal.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. It can really help you become more aware of how different foods affect how you feel. Your mood, your energy levels. It can give you some really good insights into what works best for you during this time.
I like that. Okay, so switching gears a bit, let's talk about herbal medicine and natural supplements. I know a lot of people are interested in this, but also want to be really cautious, especially with a new baby.
Of course. And safety is absolutely paramount, especially if you're breastfeeding. The info we've looked at, it really stresses the importance of talking to your doctor before you start using any new herbs or supplements.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what are some of the specific remedies that stood out in our research?
Well, there's St. John's wort. It's an herb that's sometimes used for mild to moderate depression. And it may be helpful for some women with PPD, but it's really, really important to only use it under the guidance of your doctor, especially if you're nursing, because it can interact with certain medications. Another one is ashwagandha. It's an adaptogenic herb, and it can help your body deal with stress by lowering those cortisol levels. Cortisol is that stress hormone, so ashwagandha can help with sleep and with mood stability. Adaptogens, they're kind of like a thermostat for your stress response.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yeah, they help your body adapt to whatever stressors you're facing. And then there's Rhodiola rosea, another herb. It can be really good for boosting energy and helping you build up that resilience to emotional stress, to fatigue.
Okay.
And then there are compounds like L-theanine and GABA. They occur naturally, and they can help with anxiety and just promote a sense of calm. And then there's 5-HTP. It helps with serotonin production, but again, use it with caution. And definitely talk to your healthcare provider about it, because it can have interactions.
So many interesting options.
Yeah.
But yeah, professional advice is key here. And I imagine the quality of the supplements can vary a lot too, right?
Absolutely. You want to look for high-quality brands, ones that are third-party tested. That'll help you feel more confident about the safety and the effectiveness of what you're taking.
Good point. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about movement. Gentle movement, exercise, because I'm always amazed by how even a little bit of physical activity can really shift my mood.
It's true. Exercise is a powerful tool for mental well-being. It releases endorphins, those natural mood boosters. It can help you sleep better. It can really reset that emotional balance.
Love it. So what kinds of activities are we talking about? What's recommended for postpartum moms?
We'll start with something gentle, like daily walks. Even 10 minutes can make a difference. And then postnatal yoga or stretching can be amazing, both for your physical recovery and for your emotional well-being.
Yeah.
And then when your body feels ready, you can add some light strength training. Or maybe join a mom and baby fitness class. That can be a great way to move your body and connect with other moms too.
It's so encouraging to hear that even small amounts of movement can have a positive impact. It doesn't have to be this big, intense workout.
Exactly. Every little bit helps. Okay, so shifting gears again, let's talk about mindfulness and emotional care.
Yes. This feels so vital, especially when, being a new mom can feel so demanding and sometimes overwhelming.
Oh, totally.
Mm.
Taking care of your mental health, it often starts with these small moments of presence, of connecting with yourself. And the research points to some really helpful mindfulness tools.
Okay, I'm curious. What are they?
Well, guided meditation is a great one. There's so many apps for that now, like Insight Timer, Calm, and then just deep breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Simple breathing exercises can be surprisingly effective for calming your nervous system when you're feeling stressed.
Right.
And then there's journaling. It can be so helpful for processing your thoughts and feelings. And practicing gratitude, focusing on what you're grateful for, that can really shift your perspective. And using affirmations, like telling yourself, I am doing my best and that is enough, that can be a powerful way to cultivate self-compassion.
I love those. They're such practical, doable things. So how do these practices actually help with postpartum depression? What's the connection there?
They work by helping to reduce anxiety. They make you more self-aware, and they support your emotional healing in the long run. They give you tools to navigate those intense emotions that can come up during postpartum. And, speaking of connection, let's talk about support systems, because I know that feeling isolated can be a real struggle for new moms.
It's huge and a major risk factor for postpartum depression, just not feeling connected to others.
Yeah, for sure. So building that support network, it's so important.
So what are some concrete ways that moms can do that? Strengthen their support system?
Well, joining a postpartum support group can be amazing, whether it's in your community or online. Connecting with other moms who get it, who understand what you're going through. And then reaching out to friends and family, people you trust, for emotional support, for practical help, just letting them know what you need. And talking to a therapist can be so valuable too. It gives you that professional guidance, that safe space to process your emotions. And if it's an option, having a postpartum doula can be incredible. They can provide so much emotional and physical support during those early weeks and months.
Yeah, having that support can make such a difference. And another key piece of the puzzle, although it can be really hard with a newborn, is sleep and rest.
Absolutely. When you're sleep deprived, it intensifies everything. It can make your mood so much worse, and it can contribute to that emotional instability. I mean, I know getting enough sleep with a new baby can feel impossible, but it's so important to prioritize rest and to find ways to maximize the sleep you do get.
So what are some things moms can try?
Magnesium supplements can be helpful for some people. We talked about how calming magnesium can be. And melatonin, if your doctor says it's okay for you, that might help regulate your sleep cycle. And herbal teas like chamomile, passion flower, lemon balm, those can be really soothing before bed. And then creating a sleep-conducive environment, white noise machines, blackout curtains, and I think most importantly, sharing those nighttime duties whenever possible. Because adequate sleep, it's not a luxury. It's crucial for healing and recovery.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, let's wrap up by talking about aromatherapy and essential oils.
Sure. Essential oils can be really helpful for emotional support and for regulating your nervous system, and they're generally gentle, which is great.
So which oils are we talking about here? Which ones are particularly helpful postpartum?
Well, lavender is a classic. It's calming. It promotes sleep. And then there's bergamot. It can really uplift your mood and help with anxiety. And frankincense. It's thought to help balance hormones and ease tension. And clary sage. It can help regulate hormones as well.
And how do you usually use these oils?
You can diffuse them, use a diffuser to fill the room with that aroma, or add them to a warm bath, or dilute them in a carrier oil and apply them topically. Maybe use a roller ball. That can be really easy.
Awesome. This has been such a great overview. I mean, it's so reassuring for new moms to know that there are all these different options out there, these natural ways to feel better.
Totally. And it's important to remember that healing from postpartum depression, it's not always linear. There might be ups and downs. And experiencing those lows, it doesn't mean you're weak. It's a real thing. It's a common experience, especially during such a huge life transition.
Absolutely.
And, whether you choose to explore these natural remedies or try herbal support or just focus on bringing a little bit of mindfulness into your day, every step you take towards your well-being is a positive one.
And I love those affirmations that we came across in our research.
Yes.
I am healing. I am not alone. I deserve to feel whole again.
Oh, those are so powerful and so true. And I think the big takeaway here is that there are so many ways to approach postpartum depression. And natural methods can be incredibly effective and gentle and nurturing. You have the right to choose what feels best for you, for your individual needs, for your comfort level, what aligns with your overall sense of well-being.
So well said. And, as we close, here's something to ponder. Motherhood. With all its joys and challenges, it's such a journey. It's a journey of growth, of resilience, and maybe, just maybe, embracing both the highs and the lows is part of what helps us build that long-term emotional well-being. So that's something to think about as you navigate this incredible chapter. Our sources also have some amazing additional resources if you want to explore further. There's a really in-depth guide, some great natural products that they've curated, and even a tool to help you assess your mental wellness. But the most important thing to remember is that your mental health matters. It really, truly does, and prioritizing it is one of the most loving gifts you can give yourself and your family.
I completely agree.
Awesome. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.